Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is Brandon Wynn and I'm with the channel Critical Failure. So this video is about factions in Blood Hunter orders, into which I'll be speaking more about that in a moment, but to clarify, this is not adding to a Blood Hunter order or anything, or changing them in any sort. I just recently, as in the past few minutes, realized to use the word faction in this, and I'm only going to be talking about one per Blood Hunter order, because I'm going to be making more, and this was more of an example of how I run the thing, and you'll be seeing more in my campaigns to come, hopefully when I can start getting my Hobgoblin campaign restarted. I will have plenty more by then, at least 3 factions in each. So that would be very interesting to see. But to now get into the video, basically I'm going to run down each of the orders. There's the Order of the Ghost Slayer, which is the oldest, or the Lycanthrope, which, as you can tell, you can turn into any lycanthrope of your choice. You get stats based on it. Order of the Mutant, which is essentially you drink a potion and you change your alchemical structure or something like that. It's pretty much that. Order of the Profane Soul, and that's pretty much where you are a warlock but with less casting ability, which we went Ed and I went over these in our past videos. If you guys magically don't know what these orders are, you should definitely go check those videos out there. We went over them in those videos. I think that was actually, yeah, all 4. But how I have this is, and I've been told that it's kind of stupid of how I see it, but I'm going to go from for at least my homebrew, the strictest with the least members, all the way to the most lax with the most members. And I'm kind of a Ghost Slayer fan, so I kind of had it to where they're more of the strictest. They're essentially James Bond of the group. They have the right to execute any aberration monster, such things as lycanthropes, who can pose a threat or not pose a threat. Like, if they choose to kill something, no one questions it, within the order, of course. So, you know, if I'm going to use my Kylan Va character, because he was a Drow Blood Hunter and he was an Order of the Ghost Slayer. If he were to be in the Ghost Slayer, he would be able to choose who lives and dies as such things. So what I call, and Ed and I actually came up with the name. Ed came up with the dark backstory on his. Mine's going to be a little bit different, so we're kind of sharing names on this for some reason. But Order of Leviticus, not in any way meant to be shared with the Bible. I just really like the name Leviticus. But essentially, the Order of Leviticus was the smallest but most intense of all the factions. They are meant to be like the Spartans of the everything else. Like, they're really hard to kill, and if you magically kill one of them, you are pretty strong. And of course, like, it makes no sense. Oh, why you Order of Leviticus if you're level 1? It's like, well, D&D, that's why you have to level up. But they're essentially the shock troopers, boots on the ground, special forces types of guys. They're the hardest to get into. They have the most brutal training program. People can die doing it. So if you want to run it similar to how I do, have it to where there's washouts, have it to where people die during these training things. And of course, like, I leave it vague for a reason. It's like, if someone asks, it's like, you don't, if you're not a part of the faction, you don't know. And you've heard like one rumor maybe in your entire life about people who hunt these things and successfully do it. And, you know, it's just one of those things to where blood hunters aren't really spoken of in D&D like as a very common thing. So the Ghost Slayer, even though it's the oldest, I can still see it being the hardest to get into. It's like, yeah, that started it, but it could evolve from there, you know. Because once, and I'll speak about this later, it's like there's others that could be easier. Going into the next hardest, I use this one to be pretty much the washouts of the Ghost Slayer, who was very strong and who didn't die, because the ones that died were weak. But the washouts essentially turned into I literally switched. I have to find out. I know what this word means. I just have to sound it out. But it's a Preobra Savani. That's Russian for transformation. I know I massacred that, but I really like trying to Google Translate words, and I had to listen to this word like 3 to 4 times just to get it somewhat correctly. But that was 4 hours ago, and it's 1:50 currently when I'm recording this, so I'm tired. But these are the Order of the Lycanthrope. So, as the name suggests, Order of Transformation. These guys are the second most strict. So they don't have the abilities like the first group of Order of Leviticus. They don't have the ability just to go out and execute anyone who's done anything. They're more of people who go out and attack other lycanthropes. Like, they do not want this to anyone else, and only among lycanthropes can they actually choose. So I guess they have somewhat of a choosing, but it's only among other lycanthropes. They don't usually go out attacking werebears, because, you know, werebears, if you read anything on them, like, they're usually not evil creatures. But I have to figure out. Okay, that's better. But these guys are definitely powerful, and I really enjoy the Order of the Lycanthrope. I enjoy the 2 classes I've talked about so far. And I think that the Order of the Lycanthrope would be a very cool class to have as the second strongest, even though I've gotten challenged with a lot of these, but in all reality, this is just my preferences over the classes, and I'm just running it the way I please. But Order of the Lycanthrope, Preobra Savani, they train honing their lycanthropic abilities to the point to where it unsettles the other groups. Like, they kind of blur the lines between being human and being whatever creature they are, to the point to where they naturally walk around in their hybrid transformation form or hybrid state and think nothing of it, but other people would just see them and be like freaked out. Even the other blood hunters. I would say that the skill to where, I forgot what skill it was, but when you're leveling up as a regular blood hunter, excluding archetype, you get the ability to not be frightened. I would say that the Order of the Lycanthrope and Order of the Ghost Slayers, for me, they're most likely to not be scared of anything early on. Like, I would say advantage, just because it's interesting for how I play it. And the next order is, this one's in German, and it's the Order of Versailles. I'm assuming the CH is an SH sound, but it's German. I'm probably wrong. I didn't listen to it on Google Translate, but I think I put damned. I don't 100% remember. I was more concerned about the Russian word, but this is the Profane Soul. The Order of Profane Soul, as I was saying earlier, are pretty much warlocks who decided that they didn't want to be warlocks. So these guys get I think it's a quarter casting, and these are they're still strict. Like, imagine a military to where they're strict on each other, but they're more lax. They get away with a lot of stupid things that the other groups wouldn't be able to. These guys are more like guys who couldn't or guys who wanted to try and be special forces but couldn't. So they're more like the guys who are in the military who work out a lot but can't make to special forces. Not calling out anyone specifically, but that's pretty much what these guys are as a collective. So they get told orders. They usually travel with the next order I'm going to be talking about. They usually have a few members of them, and they go out and do more squad missions. I had to think of that word. And they're more fleshy. They don't really they have more casualties than the other two groups. So if you were to run it like how I would, definitely have these guys in the more numerous, because the like from last to first, so essentially Ghost Slayer to Lycanthrope, like less and less people are in it. So it's like, I would say maybe a couple dozen people in Ghost Slayer, and then say like 50 in Lycanthrope, and then it drastically increases to like maybe a few hundred in this Profane Soul, because how I see it, into which a lot of I've gotten like this once, to where it's like, I don't see why a blood hunter would essentially give up their soul. It makes no sense, because it's an evil creature. Well, they're still a human or an elf or whatever like race it is. Like, they can still be tempted, and when you lose something great to you, it's like something that really matters, that power is all that matters. And that's exactly essentially what these guys did. So these guys really only wanted power granted to them that they could harness easily, so that's what they got. And then this last group, I found the name more funny, and that's why I kept it, but it's the Order of Babylon. I imagine the city of Babylon being a festive place, so I figured, why not? And these guys are essentially like the army compared to the rest of the military. You know, like the army is the biggest branch. The Order of Babylon, or the faction, the Order of Babylon, that's the Order of the Mutant. So the Order of the Mutant has the most members. This faction happens to be one of the larger factions, and each of these factions, like the Order of Leviticus, is the smallest but most powerful. The Russian one, Preobra Zavanye, is like kind of the medium filled one. Like, it's kind of in the between the smallest and the largest, but it's still a pretty good one. And this is all within one continent. In my campaign, like, other continents are around, and like, diplomacy really matters in my campaign to come, because I'm still making content for this continent, and I'm already doing a lot of it, because I now have about 150 character sheets that I have to make. So imagine the surrounding countries like having to write for the guys now, and it's just the Order of the Profane Soul now. The reason why I'm saying like 200 is like because they're tempted and stuff like that, and the Order of the Mutant is just essentially the fresh out of the gate, like just blood hunters, the guys who go in, and then either they're really good at what they do, so they stay in there and they become trainers or something like that. Like essentially how the Marines have it, to where when you're serving for over 4 years, you have to, once you hit sergeant and you go through, I think it's once you go through sergeant school, you have to pick being a drill instructor or some other things and stuff like that. I don't remember perfectly. It's been a long time since I've been able to have it explained to me. But it's similar to stuff like that you either choose to try and go for another archetype, essentially. So you try to be the Order of the Lycanthrope, or Order of the the Order of the Ghost Slayer. So it's like a promotion type of standard in this one, rather than forced to choose your path. So technically you would be able to choose later on, like what I would say is if you were to choose and switch, you would essentially have to start your character over, because the Order of the Ghost Slayer, you're essentially weaker than what you were, and you have to start all over because of your newfound abilities and such like that. But these are just factions, and I know I'm saying like the Order of Leviticus, the Order of Babylon, stuff like that, and essentially when you're hearing this, it's just like a country's faction, and that's really it. And when I get my campaign, it's probably going to get more confusing about it, but in reality, like me being the TM, it's really not going to be that hard for me to keep track of it. So I'm hoping that some of you guys who are there at least pick it up when all that stuff happens. But on to other video news. I actually finished my Janazu video that I have been writing for, I don't know, 2 days. I have some Dark Souls weapons that I'm writing for. I'm going to try and get like maybe 20 done. I have like maybe 7, because I'm more trying to go for lore stuff and damage according to lore. And then I just finished Sequard of Katarina, and that was a lot of me trying to figure out lore that I already knew about the Dark Souls game and stuff like that. So that was a pain. I don't have a character sheet, so I had to write everything down on scratch paper. I wrote his class and all that stuff, his archetype, and I'm just hoping that I did it accurately. So don't murder me too bad. But I'm thinking the next video is going to be about halflings, maybe dwarves. I'm not sure yet. I have a couple videos still in line. I actually have to write something down real quick, and that is, I finally found out what Baphomet would be a great class for, and that is Ranger, which is really funny because I was finally able to get Mordenkainen's Tome of Foes, and upon reading his abilities, he seems to be more of a tracking person, so Ranger definitely suits him. But very tempted to start online DMing because I want to be able to, I want to start getting some more money on my end, because a lot of things are happening in my personal life. I'm finally going to college, so being 19 years old and going to college while you have a job and a lot of other stuff is happening in your life is kind of stressful. So I'm trying my best. I'm hoping this video, sorry about that, I'm hoping this video actually uploads tonight, because I posted on Instagram like 3 hours ago saying that this video would be up, and it's now 2:01. So I'm hoping this downloads, and I might honestly start writing for my next video. Might not, but yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe. I'm really tired. Go follow us on our Instagram page, critical.failure. Stop by DM's Guild to try and search up the half-troll player character that Edward made. I may have said something about this earlier in the video. I'm not even sure at this point, but I know I said something about it in the Instagram. I want to try and play test the Dark Souls characters, character builds that I'm writing, but not really sure as of right now. I probably want to kind of refine them more before I even try and do that, so we'll see. I'm not sure how long this will take for the Dark Souls character itself, for the Ashen one, but we'll see. I need more paper for my video ideas. I know I will be doing some interviews once I have the ability. I'm looking forward to that. It's going to be weird. I'm having to kind of record that, because since I'm using only my phone for these videos, because I have essentially nothing else to record with. It's going to be very weird trying to do that, so I'm going to be essentially interviewing people who have played little or no Dungeons and Dragons to see how they react to it and stuff like that. Like if they don't really know how popular it is, talking about how it's popular and stuff like that. So I'm hoping that you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll catch you in the next one, possibly tomorrow afternoonish, maybe sometime before 4, because I work at 4. So that's it, really. Hope you guys have a great day, morning, night, whatever it is that you happen to watch this video. See you.